Like, I don't even really know where to start, man. All I can say is that the return of ITB did not disappoint, and I'm so excited about that after having waited a year. It's just so crazy. When you think about it, we waited a year, but man, listen, they came back strong, and we are going to get into it today. So a couple of things, you guys, before we get started. Make sure that you turn your notification bell on so that you do not miss anything. Please watch this whole video and be willing to get into it in the comments as well. And also, I want to share something with you at the end of this video, and I'll try and make it as short as I can. But listen, man, I'm excited. So the fact that I'm excited, I want to share something with you. I'm just going to say it out the gate because we are talking about episodes 9 and 10 together. I might be all over the place. I ask that you give me a little bit of a break concerning that because there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want this video to be super long, so bear with me. So let's get started. Episode 9, Chamber of the Scorpion. I think I got that name right. And then episode 10, Raven's Feather, Phoenix Blood. Man, these things were so good. So how about the way that 9 starts? I mean, with that epic fight scene between the Widow and the Master. Now, I don't know about you, but I've always wondered what it would be like to see those two go at it. So to see this at the jump was super exciting. And when that dude hits that chain and she flies out of that box, I'm like, oh man, there she is. There she is. That's my TV wife, and it was amazing. Now, I'm not surprised at the outcome of this fight. I don't think you are either. I mean, I'm not surprised that the Master was able to handle her easily. And she did. That fight was awesome, and the choreography for it was just as smooth as it could be. That's one thing that's been consistent, right? They have given us such good fight choreography, and season 3 has been so cinematic. There are elements of season 3 that makes you feel like you're watching a movie. Man, how is anybody, you know, you can't tell me this isn't the best show on TV, but I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna go off on the rant. I could, but I'm not gonna go off on the rant about that. So what I love about this is really this is an examination of where the Widow will go. Honestly, you guys, I feel like the Master really is taking her down the same road that she took MK. Only MK was not able to conquer his fears or conquer the darkness inside. But I feel like this is the same journey that the Master is taking the Widow down, and we'll see what happens as a result of that. So it's really interesting, right? Because we kind of have a parallel here between MK and what's happening with the Widow, but we don't know what the Widow's outcome is. So I was excited to see that. But the fight choreography, I think, was fabulous. I think the fact that we do get to see her exercise her gift is amazing, and everybody was excited. You know you were excited about that when you saw that in the trailers. Now, what kind of did disappoint me, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought that she was exercising a gift in the real world. Then when we find out that it's in the mirror world, I was like, it was exciting to see, but she's not gonna do any real world butt kicking, and that's really what I want to see. But I do think that that's coming. I do think that she will get her gift back there as well. I also, the whole fact of the Widow versus Widow is just like, it was super cool to see that happen, to see her dark self go against her light self or her real self. I don't know what we would call that, light or real self. Somebody tell me what to call it, because I don't know what to call her. But I thought that was very cool. And at first I thought, oh man, like that's cool, like that's so unique. Then it hit me, the same thing happened with MK, because that's what happens in the mirror world. Apparently your dark self goes against your real self, and that's kind of how you ferret out and face your fears. So after thinking about that, it wasn't that surprising to see her alternate self in the mirror world, but the fight scene in there, I was like, wow. I mean, to see those two go at it and the way that they shot that, and how about the contrast, man? To see her in that deep crimson red, and then to see the alternate Widow in that black, it was just like, wow. And that fight choreography was was amazing. Somebody tell me where you've seen something like that on TV. You can't tell me. Man, you haven't seen stuff like that in a lot of movies. It was phenomenal, and I will tell you, man, I was like, oh, no, man. Like, even though she was the quote-unquote bad Widow when she got stabbed, it hurt my heart, man. It hurt me. It hurt me bad, because that's my TV wife. So I'm interested to see kind of where they take that and what the Master is able to develop in her, and actually who she ends up being, kind of how her character arcs at the end of this season. Oh, man, it even hurts me to say the end of this season. So I love the fact that we started out with that. And actually, this episode is pretty cool when you think about episode 9, because really it mirrors episode 1. Because remember, in episode 1, we get that big fight, right, between Sunny and the Nomads. And then at the end, we get that rain fight with Sunny and the Bowlers. And that, for me, is still one of the best fights that I've ever seen in ITB. But episode 9 mirrors that, because at the end, we get that fight between Sunny and Pilgrim. Woo-wee! And that was an epic brawl. Not going to go there yet because I want to talk about some of the stuff that happens in between. So let's talk a little bit about MK, man. Okay, so for all the MK fans out there, you guys know I love you, but I agree, man, with some of the people in the comments that said this dude needs to stop whining. He's a baby, man. You're a big baby. I'm tired of the whining. Like, I want him to do either one or two things. Listen, embrace the dark side and go ahead and get your Darth Vader on, or do something. But this kind of, my mom. That's a terrible thing for me to say too, man. I'm a counselor by profession, and I should have a kinder heart. I should be more sensitive to the guy's position. He lost his mama. Listen, MK, get over it, dude. You don't even know if you lost your mom. That's what you saw in the mirror realm. You don't even know. So do something, man. Move in some direction. Move over here and be light and goodness, or move over here and be full on darkness. But do something. I'm tired of the middle of the whininess. Whew. Probably lost some subscribers right there, but I had to say it. But honestly, you guys, I am interested to see what does happen with MK's story. Now, from what I understand, this half of the season, we were actually supposed to get a lot more out of MK, and we were actually supposed to get a lot more of his story to unfold. I don't know now if that's going to happen, honestly, because of where we are in this show ending on AMC. So I don't know if we're going to get as much. I feel like maybe we will. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. I was confident that we would, prior to finding out what's happening with the show, because of course we'd have season 4 and so on to explore things. But I do kind of want to see what happens with MK. I do think also that MK is going to make some tragic decisions. Yeah, that's the word I want. I want decisions. Like, I think he's going to do some things that he's either going to really regret, and it's going to shake him up and move him more towards the light, towards Team Sunny, or he's going to do some things that are just going to break him, and he's just going to go full on Darth Vader. Now, let's talk about Bajji, because Bajji, I was so happy to see him, man. The guy is such a great addition to the show. The comic relief for him is phenomenal. And he was hilarious in episode 9. The fight scene with him and the Harbinger was great, but that scene had me cracking up. And it was an epic scene because we've never seen that level of fighting with him, or at least in my opinion, I haven't. Maybe you guys think something different. Like, the last time I saw him fighting with that level of fighting, for me, was Blind Cannibal Assassin. So to see him really do his thing at that peak level, I thought was super impressive. And it was hilarious, man. Like, when the Harbinger is dragging him and tells him, "You hit like my sister," I was dying. But I will tell you what part of that scene that really had me literally laughing out loud is when he slides across the floor and he gets up and he's like face to face with Pilgrim. And the way they shoot that and the way Pilgrim looks at him was hilarious. So I'm so happy to see that guy back and to see him doing the things that he's doing, trying to get in Nyx's head, even though he didn't really have to do that because Nyx is already done with Pilgrim. Like, Nyx is like, man, look, I know you killed Castor. You're not fooling me. So she's already turning. But I was really happy to see Bajji. Now, let's jump to Pilgrim and Sunny. So how about that fight, man? Oh, man, I mean, wow, it was epic. You know what's crazy about that fight? What's crazy about that fight is when you saw that fight in the commercials, it felt like the last fight, like the big epic battle. So to see a fight like that on the front end and to realize that that was just a skirmish between he and Pilgrim, well, not really a skirmish because Pilgrim almost killed him, but it makes you wonder, like, oh my gosh, like, what's coming? Like, how are they going to hype it up? Because they are going to ramp it up. You know, if those two go at it again, it can't just be like the same fight. It's going to be like some next level type stuff. And this is without Sunny even being dark. So can you imagine what that fight will be like if Sunny goes dark? Man, it's going to be on. Now, with this first fight, Pilgrim pretty much kicks his butt. Now, wait a minute, because I know some of you guys, because you said this in the comments of the last video, you were like, well, wait a minute, Al. Sunny actually handled his own without him being in a dark state. As a matter of fact, some of you guys were like, honestly, Al, looked like Sunny was really taking it to Pilgrim, and then Pilgrim went dark, and then it was game off for Sunny. I think that's fair. I think that's true. To see those two go at it, though, was epic. So, I mean, to see Sunny go dark would just be something, would just be totally sick. And I really hope we get to see that. I kind of feel like we have to see that now, man. Like if the show is ending on AMC, they can't take us out without us seeing Sonny go dark, because everybody wants to see it, right? So I feel like that's going to happen. But I love that fight between those two as well. I thought it was awesome. And I'm telling you, man, this is for all the Pilgrim lovers out there, and there are a few, trust me, you will see them in the comments. There's some folks that are Team Pilgrim to the hilt. I don't think Pilgrim is all that bad yet. I honestly believe, I said this before, I feel like Pilgrim believes in what he's doing. I think that Pilgrim thinks it really is his destiny to cleanse the Badlands and to rule over the people of the Badlands. I don't feel like he feels like that's a bad thing. And he doesn't get why, like, Sonny is not with that. He's like, I don't understand, man. Like, this is what we're for. He really believes that. But we do see him slipping, right, to the dark side. And we see, like, small flashes of that, like when he's about to take people out, almost kills a guy when the guy is trying to repair the chamber. So we see those small flashes of him kind of slipping into darkness. Now, I said this before, and I embrace it. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my last video where I said that Lord of the Rings is the best action thriller or action movie of all time. I stand by that. Here's why I make that analogy. Here's why. The Precious. The Dark Gift is like The Precious. That was geeky 100%, and I'm proud of it. But the Dark Gift is really like the ring. Now, in Lord of the Rings, you cannot wear the ring without being corrupted. It will corrupt you. It's not possible. I feel like the Dark Gift is like that, right? I feel like with the level, the amount of the gift that Pilgrim has, it's only a matter of time. Like, you can't possess it without it corrupting you. And we see kind of that slow descent into darkness, and we even see him wrestling with that. Like when he's talking to Cressida, he's like, man, I'm slipping. But what's also interesting about the gift is, just like the ring, boy, we got so many parallels. It takes its toll on you. Now, you guys remember the scene where Cressida's like, listen, you need to lay down. You don't look so hot, because it takes its toll on you. I think that's going to be an important role of what's to play with the final confrontation with Pilgrim. So right now, man, I still kind of have a little bit of heart for Pilgrim. I'm team Widow all the way. You guys know that. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like it might not go the way that we all think it might go. I think that there might be some twists here that are going to happen, and I think Pilgrim might be one of those twists where we don't see what's coming. So, I just want to say that. Now, if we hop to the second episode, Raven's Blood, Phoenix Feather, did I get that right? I like this episode because this episode really, the bulk of the episode really does focus on the development and what's going on between the storyline with the Master and my brain, it's late, man. I'm sorry, you guys. With the Master and the Widow. So I'm interested to see kind of how all of that plays out as well. So that was the major focus of that storyline. And we'll just see where that goes, man. We'll see what happens. What I do think is really interesting about that, though, is that that episode does answer a question for us, because she does talk about the origin of the gift. Remember, those two were having that conversation, and the Master answers really a question that we've had for a while about the origin of the gift, and that is where it comes from. So we do know now that the original nature of the gift was not biological. It seems really almost like it was technological. And after that, people who I guess had it through technology were born with it. But isn't it interesting to know that she says the gift was really there to heal? That was its major purpose. And it does seem like there is a difference between the two gifts. It seems like when we see the Master, she does have something that looks like a light gift. She looks different than those who exercise that gift with dark eyes, which I think is fascinating. But I also think it's fascinating because when we do see the Widow with the gift, she does go dark, and it's not the same apparently as the Master's gift. So maybe there are two versions of the gift. So I just want to throw that out there for us to get into in the comments. But I really enjoyed both of these episodes, man. I thought that they were so awesome, and it's so exciting to see the show back. Guys, remember the effort that we have to get this show going. We're still tweeting during the show. We're still tweeting on the off days using the hashtag Into the Badlands and hashtag Save the Badlands. So let's keep that going. it was phenomenal, man. Like, I'm really, really happy, and I'm excited about what's coming. I know in the next couple of episodes, we should be meeting Sunny's sister. We're going to get the Black Lotus. We're going to meet Ankara again, and I really hope that we get a little bit more about her, because I'm really fascinated about that character. So I'm happy to see the show back, man. I really hope that someone else picks this show up. Guys, thank you so much. I do want to say this. Please make sure that you subscribe if you're new here. We are really working on the goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you like ITB, join the community. We do cover other things on this channel as well. Make sure that you like, comment, again, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.